Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. So, first little job we're on with today to start the video off with is we're putting a new drawbar ring on this Triffitt trailer that we did the headboard on before. Now I've got my tech arc welder back up and running, we can get on and do this. So there's always a big debate with drawbar rings is on whether you should weld round the top of them and weld round the sides of them. And you can see this one has been welded around the top and the sides. It's original drawbar ring, and it's a Triffitt trailer. Now you'd think Triffitt have made enough trailers to know what they're doing when it comes to welding drawbar rings in. But yeah, you can see that one's pretty thin now, so yeah, we'll get that one chopped out. Now, last time I did one of these, I used a plasma cutter and like plasma gouged the welds away. I think this time I'm going to use a arcade gouger. Keep my eye in. What I'll do first is I'll run across the top of there with a grinder, and then that gives me a line to gouge up to. The only thing I've noticed is it's full of water in there, so I'll maybe gouge down there first and make a way for the water to run out of. Yeah, I need to hurry up and get on with this because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon now and it starts getting dark at like 4:30 now, so try and get on as fast as I can. So there's not much holding this one in, it's only welded across the back. There's no weld down the side, and then I'm guessing it must be welded across. Yeah, I can feel a weld under there as well. So there's not been much holding it in. Right, that's the old one cut out. So yeah, it was just welded across the end there, and then across the bottom, and round there. So when I weld this new one in, I think I'm not going to weld around the ends, I'm just going to weld all the way around like that. I'll do 3 runs all the way around like that. Might leave that end open. Well, I'll have to leave it open if I'm not going to weld around it. Then at least when water runs in there, it can just run straight back out again. So I'll get that tacked on there where I want it, and then I'll preheat it and then weld it round. Right, that's that welded round then. So 3 welds all the way around that. And now it's just to weld back over the top. Like that. So that's that welded round as well now. I did V them out a little bit before I welded them, and then vertical up there and then straight across the top, and then nice weld down the side. So there is a big gap there and there, but like I say, I don't want to put any weld round there, and when it fills up with water in there it can drain out of them holes, so that'll have to be alright. It's not really going to add any strength welding around there anyway, because there's more than enough weld holding the ring into the drawbar. Yeah, that's that done. I'll get tidied up and then I'll maybe spray some grey around it, and then that's that done. Can go back now, this trailer. And that took me about an hour and a half to do that, so it didn't take long at all. That's how thin that old ring had gotten. So probably down to about half, about 20 mil. Right, next little job is I've got some 6mm plate on the plasma table, and I'm cutting out some strips with some holes in, and then I'm going to roll them into like a semicircle, and then, well, my dad's on with a slurry tanker, so then I had to weld inside a slurry tanker to give it some extra strength. The slurry tanker that he's on with has either been rolled over or something's hit it at the side and sort of bent it in a little bit, so he's pushed it back out, and now we just want some like support rings on the inside to add some strength back into it so it doesn't suck itself in. So that's them cut out. There was a bit of dross to knock off them, hardly any, so I didn't video that. So they're ready to go through the rollers now. So we'll bang them through the rollers. The only thing is they're too long to go all the way through, so I'll have to put it through, roll it, take it out, turn it round, roll it from the other side, just till I get enough of a curve on it till it misses the wall, and then we should be right. And I'll just keep rolling them till I get 5 foot measurement from the top to the other side. Right, that's the first one rolled. So it measures 5 foot across there, but it will be rolled slightly more at one side than it is at the other, because that bit was sort of double rolled, and then because it was touching the wall, and I didn't take it out and turn it around like I said I was going to do. So this bit that's only been one roll or whatever, one less roll than that side, has got more of a roll on it, because when you're rolling things, you have to sort of build up to it gradually. If you just do it all in one roll, for some reason it rolls it a lot more than what that side has done. So, if that makes sense. So if I put that other one in now, what the rollers are set at, even though it's rolled that to that, if I just try and run it through now and do it all in one roll, as it's set now, it'll roll it a lot more than what it has done that one. Must be to do with the spring in the steel, I think. So I'll have to back them off a little bit before I put the new one in, and then build up to back where it is now. Like ideally you want the whole thing to run through equally, so it all has the same amount of roll at the same pressure, rather than one side having more pressure than that side. I'm not very good at explaining it, but hopefully you get what I mean. Right, so that's them pressed. They're near enough. They'll get pressed to the inside of the tanker and then welded around where them holes are. Just as some like extra ribs just around the top half. The bottom half of the tanker has got like a chassis, so the bottom half doesn't need any. Right, so we're on to the next job now. So a while ago, well, I made a video on it. I made some grids, like drainage grids for a yard, but I never got the frame made for him to sit in, so I need to get that made now. So we've got 2 lengths of angle iron. It's like 80x 80x8 angle iron. Yeah, we just need to make one frame for him to sit in. Now, I don't really like using angle iron because in my career as an agricultural engineer, the only thing I really seen angle iron get used for is farmers using it to bodge stuff back together, like gates or anything really. So yeah, it gives me nightmares, this angle iron. Plus it's just difficult and awkward to work with. But anyway, I need to cut 2 off at 917mm and 2 off at 4.6 metres. I can't remember off the top of my head. I've got it written down, but I was thinking about cutting them off at an angle 45 and joining 2 45s together. But my chop saw won't go wide enough to do that. I do have a big bandsaw, but I don't want to bring my big bandsaw around just to do 4 cuts. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut it off at 90 degrees, and then the 2 that are joining, I'll have to notch a bit out. So like this bit will sit into that bit. So it'll just be a square end rather than 45s. And then I've got my bench cleared off. It'll overhang the bench, but I can use it to get it square and parallel. So yeah, I'll turn that over onto its like point, and then cut off the bits I need. Right, so that's one end, the other end's down there, and then them the 2 long side pieces. So I need to cut them bits out like that. So then the long bit of box section can sit sort of flush in there like that. Right, that's them notched out now then. Same with that one. So I can set these up now for 917 between the gaps, and then lay me long bits of angle on. And then these big squares that I've got, I'll set these up on this end and then set the angle across like that. It's still going to be longer than the bench, but it'll just give me a bit extra. I won't have so much overhang at that end then. Right, so I've got them set up again, them down there, and they're all set at like 59mm on the scale. And then got these on here, I've got them clamped on there. So I know that that's square with a bench. I know that this is square because it's on them, same at that side. So I just need to clamp them down now. And then, yeah, I can tack this end up. And then whether I slide the whole lot one way or whether I just clamp some bits underneath there and then to put the other end in. Got all that clamped in now, but I'm just going to take it out again. I'm just going to grind some like weld prep onto it because there isn't really anywhere for the weld to go. You just sort of sit on top. So if I grind a little bit off just this side, and then it's got a bit of a V to fill in, then I can grind it off smooth afterwards, and then the grid will sit flat down. It's not going to be sat on the weld. Probably do the same with that as edge as well. Right, so that's tacked up. So I'm just going to cut out a strip to go in the middle, just like a 50mm strip to stop the middle from moving in or out. I'm just going to plasma that out of this bit of plate. You can use that end bit and it'll come to down here somewhere. So I'll plasma that out now. So that's that end tacked in as well. So I just had to put a jack in and then open it out a little bit, because when you look down the length of the box section, angle iron, there was a little bit of a bow in it, and then by the time it got to this end it was a little bit narrower than what it should have been. So yeah, that's that right, that's tacked in there. The customer also asked if I could weld some bits on the side, because it's getting concreted in, it needs some bits out to hold it into the concrete. So what I was going to do is I'm going to chop some bits off like this, out the leftover angle iron, and weld them on the side like that, and that'll tie it into the concrete. I'll put 6 of them down each side, and then maybe 2 across either end. I'll get some more of these cut now. Right, that's all them tacked on now. So yeah, we can start welding it up. So I'll weld round all this as it is on the bench now, and then I'll take it off and flip it upside down and then weld around the back side. Right, so that all welded up and then smoothed off in there. And then all these are welded on. And they're welded up underneath on the underside as well. I ground it back out and welded round under there, so that's all fully welded. And then they're all welded in to stop it moving when it's concreted in. Yeah, so these are the grids that I made before that fit in that frame. I've just given these a bit of a clean up because I never got around to painting them, so they're a bit rusty. So I've cleaned them off. Now they're ready to paint. That frame's ready to paint. Now it's far from ideal conditions to paint them because it's like 2 degrees C in here at the moment, but I've got the heater going, so I'm going to spray them where they are now and then drive the forklift forward and dangle them or lower them sort of in front of the heater, and then hopefully they should dry. That'll just have to stay there and hopefully that'll dry as well. And we're spraying them with semi-gloss red oxide. Right, so that's that painted and then painted as well, so they're drying off there in front of the heater. Not the easiest things to paint because when you're trying to spray in there you end up spraying on this bit, and then when you spray under there again you spray on there as well, so you end up, I've got a few runs in places where I put too much on, but anyway, as long as it's got plenty of paint on, that's all that matters. See, there's a bit there I've missed. But yeah, it's -1 outside, so it won't be much warmer in here. So it's the following morning now, and they've actually dried pretty well. They were in front of the heater for about 4 hours last night, and yeah, they've dried a lot better than I expected them to do. So they're coming for them tomorrow, along with that and the trailer. So I'll put all this on the trailer, and then it's all ready to go back. Right, so that's them sat in there then. So these grids aren't actually going to sit in this frame. These grids are to sit in the frame that's already in the yard. And then the old grids that weren't very strong are going to sit in this frame, and this frame is going to be used to make like a wash for washing trailers out. But I just sat them in so you can see, and then it's easier to load on the trailer as well. So yeah, I picked them up by the middle now, providing it's not going to bend too much when I pick it up from the middle, because obviously it's quite wide and they're pretty heavy.